Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. There's been a lot of speculation about a potential fight between Jorge Masvidal and Leon Edwards. I'm going to break down the entire situation and let you guys know whether or not I think the UFC will finally make this fight. Will Jorge Masvidal versus Leon Edwards finally come to fruition? This is a fight that's been talked about since early 2019. Jorge Masvidal and Leon Edwards both fought on the same card. That was the card that Jorge Masvidal brutally KO'd Darren Till. Leon Edwards beat Gunnar Nelson on the undercard. Then they had the backstage altercation where Jorge Masvidal was doing the post-fight interview. He walks over, punches Leon Edwards. You guys all know the story. And after that altercation backstage, everybody automatically assumed Jorge Masvidal versus Leon Edwards would be the fight to make. The UFC had a great story for it. Well, for whatever reason, it didn't happen. Jorge Masvidal went on to fight Ben Askren next. And we all know what happened there. Jorge Masvidal lands the 5-second flying knee, brutally KOs Ben Askren, and then his star power just skyrocketed after that fight. I mean, Jorge Masvidal, for all the people who talk about Leon Edwards, say nobody knows him, before that Ben Askren fight, Jorge Masvidal was not very widely known by casual fans. Now he is. That Ben Askren fight really skyrocketed his popularity. Then he goes on to fight Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz beat Anthony Pettis, then called out Jorge Masvidal. He goes on a fight and beat Nate Diaz at UFC 244. And then what's very strange is a win over Nate Diaz gets you 2 consecutive title shots against Kamaru Usman. In the first fight, it was kind of short notice. Usman was supposed to fight Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns had to pull out a couple weeks before the fight. Jorge Masvidal steps in, loses via a dominant decision. Well, he doesn't fight after that. And for whatever reason, I know why, the UFC books UFC 261, Kamaru Usman versus Jorge Masvidal 2. This was the first event back with fans, so the UFC really wanted to sell out the arena. It was in Florida. Jorge Masvidal is very popular in Florida, and that's why he got the second title shot. Well, in that fight, he gets KO'd by Kamaru Usman, loses, open and shut case, nothing you can say about it. You know, there's no, oh, well, I took in a short notice and I still took you to a decision, this or that. He was finished, and it was a knockout. It was decisive as you can get. Well, Leon Edwards, in the meantime, has had the worst stroke of luck ever. He was supposed to fight Tyron Woodley in March of last year. That fight did not come to fruition because of the whole thing going on in the United States right now and everywhere throughout the world. And Leon Edwards could not get into the United States to fight Tyron Woodley. Well, Woodley at this time was only coming in off one loss to Kamaru Usman when he lost his belt. So a win over Woodley would have propelled Leon Edwards to a title shot, and I think he would have won that fight and won it pretty decisively. Well, Gilbert Burns stepped in. Gilbert Burns ended up winning. Then Leon Edwards wanted to return. The UFC strong-armed him by taking him out of the rankings because they wanted him to fight unranked prospect Khamzat Chimaev. They finally got Leon Edwards to agree to fight Khamzat Chimaev in December of 2020. Khamzat Chimaev and Leon Edwards both get sick, pull out of the fight. It was rescheduled for January. Khamzat Chimaev still is not recovered, so they pull the fight again. They reschedule it for March. Then Khamzat Chimaev still not recovered. They pull it again, but this time they give Leon Edwards a replacement opponent in Bilal Muhammad. Well, Leon Edwards was winning the fight pretty handily. He accidentally eye pokes Bilal Muhammad, and it goes to a no contest. After that fight, nothing happens until this year. He fights Nate Diaz at UFC 263 in June. And this was a very strange fight for Leon Edwards because I think it was the right decision taking it, because getting a win over a big name like Nate Diaz can help you grow your star power. But at the same time, I don't feel like a Nate Diaz win puts him any closer to a title shot than he was already. I mean, he's on a decent win streak right now, you know, the best in the division, but the names are lackluster. And with the Nate Diaz fight, Nate Diaz rocks him in the 5th round, and that's all people remember. Nate Diaz rocked you. So since that fight happened in June of this year, Leon Edwards called out Jorge Masvidal a couple times. And Jorge Masvidal versus Leon Edwards, for whatever reason, seems like it's never coming together. Jorge Masvidal was saying, I want whatever opponent's going to get me closest to a title shot. I don't know if that's true or not, if that's what he really wants. But it seems like none of the welterweights want to fight each other. None of the top welterweights. It just seems like, I don't want to fight this guy. I don't want to fight this guy. Colby Covington only fought one fight after losing to Kamaru Usman, and he sat out and waited for a title shot. Well, anyway, it came out this week that apparently the UFC is trying to make Jorge Masvidal versus Leon Edwards. And Jorge Masvidal tweeted out, "My next fight will be for a world title. I don't want to hear nothing about a guy coming off a 2-fight skid and got KO'd in his last fight." And I understand where he's coming from here. But Kamaru Usman is not defending his belt to Colby Covington until November at UFC 268. So you're at least sitting out till maybe February of 2022, best case scenario. Now, there is precedent for this. Tyron Woodley was supposed to fight Johnny Hendricks. Johnny Hendricks pulled out of the fight. Tyron Woodley sat around and waited till, I think it was July of the following year, to get his title shot. Did not fight again. He said, "I'm number one contender. I beat Johnny Hendricks." He pulled out of the fight. So there is precedent for waiting around for a title shot. Colby Covington did the same thing. He waited around for a title shot after beating Woodley. The people wanted to see him fight other fighters, and there was people available, but he did not, and now he's getting a shot. So it happens all the time, and the UFC gives into these guys. But I don't know if Leon Edwards is going to get it. And a massive win over a guy in Jorge Masvidal who has serious star power, I think that would be great for him. And I think he needs the cherry on the top of, beating a top guy. Because right now this win streak is great and all, but he hasn't fought anybody within this win streak. He just hasn't. And, the best name is what? RDA, and RDA has moved back down the lightweight after getting beat by all the other top welterweights. So that's not really a great win. I mean, he has a win over Vicente Luque, but that was years ago. That was so long ago, nobody even remembers that fight. So Leon Edwards should really take this fight. I think, Jorge Masvidal is a winnable fight. I favor Leon Edwards to beat Jorge Masvidal. I think he'll stick on the outside, piece him up and win a decision. The one thing that I would be worried about for Leon Edwards in this fight, if Jorge Masvidal hits you like Nate Diaz hits you, I think you're going to sleep. Nate Diaz does not have the same type of power that Jorge Masvidal does. Jorge Masvidal has knocked quite a few guys dead. Darren Till, Ben Askren. But honestly, I think Leon Edwards wins this fight, and he wins it pretty easily. And then he could say, okay, I'm definitely waiting for a title shot now. But the other part of this, and people are shitting on Leon Edwards for this, and I get it. I 100% get it. I don't think Jorge Masvidal wants this fight either. Why would Jorge Masvidal want to fight Leon Edwards, a fight that he's probably going to lose, when he can fight Nate Diaz or Nick Diaz? If Nick Diaz beats Robbie Lawler, I believe we will get Jorge Masvidal versus Nick Diaz next. So I really don't think that Jorge Masvidal wants this fight either, but the fans want this fight. People want an end to Jorge Masvidal, Leon Edwards, the backstage altercation. People have been clamoring for it for so long now. They're two elite welterweights. Why not make the fight finally? And honestly, I told you guys I would let you know whether or not I thought the UFC would make this fight. And based on everything I've told you so far, I do not think this fight is coming to fruition. There's just too many factors in the way. The UFC could strong-arm both guys, but I really don't think either guy wants to fight. I just don't. I think, Leon Edwards says, okay, I'll sit around and wait for a title shot. Jorge Masvidal says, you know what, I'll fight Nick or Nate Diaz, and that's a much easier fight. And he's already earned 2 title shots over beating Nate Diaz. So the UFC has shown him time and time again, you don't need to beat top contenders to get a title shot. So I just don't think Jorge Masvidal versus Leon Edwards happens. Let me know in the comments what you think. Make sure to like the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.